Ayer Elejada Sounds. Ayer Elejada Sounds.
Hi, Kate. I'm in my bathroom. This is a pre-recording that we're doing. This is probably the most difficult Real New Jersey podcast I've ever done. I'm here with Kate from Kate Cut My Hair because I needed help during this pandemic. Episode 5, how to give yourself a haircut during this pandemic. Thank you for, I know this sounds bad, thank you for coming into my bathroom so I can cut my hair, Kate. So, first things first, I'm scared. I've never done this before. I wear glasses, and if I take them off, I'm not going to see what I'm doing. May I use my glasses as I'm cutting my hair today safely?
Absolutely. I would probably advise you to do so. This is a self haircut. This isn't a blind haircut. That's
Okay,
a different episode.
All right, good. Because I was a little worried about that because, you know, I could be like shaving and suddenly have a mohawk. And Kate, I also want to preface this is I love my barber Connie. I call her Connie Cuts. She owns this barbershop in Gladstone, New Jersey called Connie's Barber Shop, but I call her Connie Cuts. This is not to replace Connie. This is strictly practicing social distancing, no human contact, till I can see Connie again in Gladstone, New Jersey. And what do I need right now to do this haircut where I can just get by? I can always wear a hat, but I feel uncomfortable. I feel off my game. Sometimes I'm on these Zoom conferences and I look like crap and I can't wear a hat. What can I do to just get by?
So I just want to sort of explain. It's funny. We started, doing these, sort of self-care instructions with clients on Zoom calls. I started this digital platform, Homeschool Hair, with my coworker. And I think what's interesting is that this actually is going to make you respect Connie all the more, as obviously you do. So I think what's interesting is that, there's a lot of liability involved with, doing, hair yourself, right? If it's you cut yourself, you have to be very careful. You need to do something where there's, a guard involved. So I always caution people, be careful when you're taking the guard off yourself because your barber really knows how to use this thing without the guard. So Connie could really talk you through that. So I'm a hairstylist, but I always like to really tell people that I'm not a barber. So my clients, even if they come in and they want like a true barber cut, I send them across the street. I work in Fanwood and we have a really amazing barber across from us called the Shave Loft. So I think that that's really a specialty. So, and I really, when I explain to people when they hop on these Zoom calls with me, that even I am having trouble talking you through a true barber cut. So this ion buzzer, first and foremost, this can be, you bought this on sallybeauty.com, which is a store that they have, I am saying this, I'm always careful with other people's branding. I call it almost like professional grade products that are sold to the consumer, that they've kind of taken something that is close to professional results, but is sold to the consumer. So that was how I started shopping for clients so that they could get something that was sort of like what we use in the salon, and then was able to talk my clients through this so that you could kind of get by without messing up your hair too much until you could get back into Connie's chair, which is the point. So we don't want to do anything that's really going to mess up her work because obviously we respect that so much. But we had to find the buzzer to do it, which this is the Ion 5-speed Max, and it's cordless. And it comes with everything that you need. We made sure that we both have the same buzzer so that I could talk you through this. And it comes with these really cool attachments, which I think Connie would approve of because she has way more attachments than we do and can do a way better haircut, of course, and is going to be able to get the back of your head better. So I'm sure we're going to miss some spots. But we can safeguard you so that you could do this yourself. And Melanie obviously will be able to touch this up for you later. But we just want to show for your viewers how we could do this, right?
Well, I'm kind of glad that you're telling me now because I have to admit to you, before we did this video, part of my fear, I actually was trying to mimic Connie. For real, I'm not kidding around here. And I'm like, that hurts. What the heck is this? And then I just stopped and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get in contact with you, Kate, from KateCutMyHair.com and try it. But that's actually a real story, and if you don't believe me, if you look closer, there's like still hair there. I actually was testing this thing out. So how should I start and be safe and something that's more of a stopgap to get to Connie because Connie is one of the best.
The bomb. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I should say I've seen your hair freshly cut and she does give you a pretty mean haircut.
Oh,
okay.
I know. And she has the secret formula written down in a locked box, believe it or not. She actually has, because she'll never remember, she can't remember, there's too many people going into her shop, but she always has a formula and she just whips it out. Oh, blah, 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 and then I'm done. It's like, wow, just like that. So that's how it works with Connie.
Right. Okay. I am going to say, I think that you should you'll see there's 2 different guards. And there should be one that has a 12 and a 9 on it. You see that?
Yes. 12 and a 9. Okay. It could be a 6, but I think it's 12 and a 9.
Yep. And then if you have the arrow that's facing up, you're going to lock it in so that it's at the 9.
Okay.
And it should feel secure.
Hold on a second. I'm going to hold it up.
This is where I feel like a flight attendant.
All right. So let me show them from the camera how it's done. So just snug it in like that.
Yep, exactly. There you go.
But, is it supposed to be locked in?
So it's almost like a less is more. You don't want to force it too much because you want to, I know sometimes like if you were to put the metal piece up against the end and then just rock it back, it'll go in.
See, this is why we need a professional to help an amateur at this because I can't even figure that part out. But let me just, oh, wait a second. Seems like it's snug. Somehow I figured it out. Okay.
I know.
All right. Hopefully I got that on camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes people force it thinking it's going to be harder. And it's just if you're gentle with it, you just go, boop, it's much easier.
Okay. Now I have a question. Like in front of here, there's some millimeters.
Right. So that would be where if you wanted to fade, you could definitely have a little bit more, I would call it more range. I always tell people I would just leave that alone. But for viewers, I would say just to explain this buzzer, there's a 1.3, a 1.6, and a 1.9. I would pull that lever all the way back so that you can see the 1.9 and it just means that it's on its longest setting.
Okay, great. Okay. So we're good. We're good there. Yep.
So now this is the on button that you're going to hit and it should say hi.
Yes.
So now for many of you, I don't know if anyone's ever heard there's, I there's like it's almost like a song. It's like relaxing for people. For many of you who are waiting on your haircut, just this noise is probably relaxing because it makes you think like you're in the barber chair. We should let people enjoy it for a second.
Yeah, now I feel like I'm at Connie's
Right?
shop. Yep.
Exactly.
Carney's
It's almost like
barbershop.
meditation for all the men out there,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So now, Sam, I'm going to turn my buzzer off now that you're sort of what I call locked and loaded, right? So you know
Yep.
my trick here. I'm gonna take my headphones off, but I'm gonna continue to talk. But you know my trick with the ears, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna put your hands on the side of your head, and I keep saying that you want to maintain, keep your fingers straight up, and maintain the plane because cutting hair is like geometry. So if you keep your fingers completely straight, so that you can understand your head shape. And if you continue to move your hands around your head, where your fingers come away from your head, that's the hair from in between your fingers and your head you don't want to touch. That's Connie's job. She's going to want to cut that hair. Only Connie really knows how to cut that hair. Okay?
Okay. Now, I have a question. Is this a good method for anybody out there about the danger zone?
Yes. Yes.
Is it so, because, I could, originally I thought maybe having like a Pete Rose haircut, but, I don't think that's in style right now, but in all seriousness, so the geometry of the head, where that is, that's off limits. Right. Okay,
so
gotcha.
This card does is that if you use your fingers and the flat piece of the guard and just understand that you're trying to maintain that idea of the flat of your fingers and the flat piece of that guard and continue straight up. And if you get nervous, scoop away from your head, that you will maintain Connie's work on the top of your head until you get to see her again.
Gotcha. Now, my next question, in the front here, assuming not touching here, but because, okay, I got it. Where
it's
the
a
shade.
great rule, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's awesome because I never knew. If it were up to me, it's like a lawnmower. You just shave off everything, but you lack style that way, and you look different. So.
And then just one more thing for the back of your head. The back of your head will be the same thing. So, but it'll be just a little lower. You're going to feel the bone of your head. I'm not going to confuse you and name those bones, but I could. So where your hand comes away from your head, you don't want to touch that hair. And that's where you're going to have the hardest time cutting the back of your head. So you might need help back there. People do it, but you're going to scoop and just come away from your head. Okay.
Now, in terms of, I guess, I'm just going to go with my range, what I feel most comfortable. So I'm not going to reach back there, just scoop away, and then have my wife or somebody else kind of finish off the rest. Like when you're mowing the lawn, you mow the lawn, but you have the weed whacker guy finish the rest, right? Is that how you would, as an analogy for men and?
I think that's a great analogy. I think it's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Alrighty. So where should I start?
So I would probably start on the sides. I think that what's interesting is to keep your glasses on so that you can see, because I think that what hairstylists are even having trouble considering that when we get back into the salon, we're going to be cutting around people's masks. We've always had to cut around people's glasses. So I think it's the same obstacle that we're all gonna have to work around.
Okay.
So go for it.
So my hand's here, so I should scoop away around this, right?
Yep.
And start above here, right?
Yep.
And try to go flat because I'm afraid it's going to pull my hair. So I should trust the guard, right? Like that.
So if you're afraid that it's going to pull your hair, the setting on this buzzer, you can hit it so that it goes low. So
Okay.
here how my buzzer, the buttons above the circle, which here,
Yep.
these buttons here, it's making it go higher or lower.
Oh, interesting. So 180 RPMs, or how do I make it lower?
So I know for all you men out there, it's always like faster is better. You want to turn it all the way up. But I think in this situation, you might want to start on where it says resistance and it's going into like RPMs. I would start lower on the RPMs and see how your hair reacts. And then I think that if you are feeling some pull, you might then want to turn it up because that might actually make less pull, believe it or not.
Okay, so what's considered low? Because it says high the entire time, essentially.
You're going to see little squares flashing. I would you should see one square flashing. Let's see how your hair does and see how you feel.
Okay, it still says high resistance, but it's one square. So
yep, one square. That's okay.
Okay. All right, and also, I know your attorney wants to hear this. I'm not holding you personally responsible. This is my idea this entire time. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. So just flat.
Yep.
And then away, right? Wow.
Yep.
Took a big chunk. All right, so people out there, start with the slow setting, number 1. It's not making me feel nervous at all. And then I just go, you see how I'm going away? Am I doing that right?
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
And there's clumps of hair coming out. That's normal. And just so you know, it's not that bad doing it with my glasses on. You know?
Yeah.
Now, as you're looking through my camera, I mean, how does it look so far? I mean, it doesn't look like it's that bad, right? And I'm just stopping at that mark and going away.
Right.
I noticed that my barber does. Okay, so right now, oops, pushing wrong buttons now. That's not good either. Okay. So right now I'm up to here, around my ear. Keep on doing it around. Is that what I should be doing?
Yep. If you have your hand on your head, if you need to check, putting your hand up against your head and almost like as if you're measuring. Where your hand comes away from your head is checking your bone structure so that you can put that flat guard up against where your hand is. So you stay away from the danger zone.
The danger zone. Too bad we don't have the copyrights music to the danger zone of Top Gun, you know, when I'm doing this haircut. Actually, I'm looking at myself right now. Actually, this side actually doesn't look that bad. At all.
I can actually, when you just turned, I was like, you look like you got a freshie.
Yeah. Is that what they call it in the industry? Freshie?
Yeah. Well, that's what I call it.
Now, I've got some clump of hair here. My glasses are here, so I'm just going to skip over that for now, right?
Yep.
The glasses
we'll get
part.
that later.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay, so back to number 1. I see all my gray hair. This is terrible. But that's okay. Connie can take care of that.
And COVID-19 will definitely give us a lot of gray.
Yes. Wow, this is interesting. Okay. Now,
you're doing a great job.
Really? Just giving myself a buzz cut real quick?
Yeah.
Now, how low do I go in the back here?
You're going to go all the way down at the bottom of your neckline.
Okay. Like here?
Yep.
see the trick. It's actually not that bad.
Yeah, now you're understanding the concept.
Yeah, because it's all about, the pull away and knowing where that danger zone is, really. Now,
That's right.
if I need to adjust my camera angle, just let me know because I can't really see.
No, I think that it's allowing people to see what you're doing.
Okay. Now, I'm just at my range right now, doing behind my head. How am I doing?
You're doing a great job.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, now I'm just doing it by feel, not by looking.
Now, I do have to tell you, for most of my Zoom calls, because I'm not doing the hair cutting, and I have such
Yeah.
confidence in my clients and people who are calling me to do this, I normally have a glass of wine, which I don't have right now. But
Oh,
I have
okay.
such confidence in you doing this that I really should be. I could just have like some vodka or something. I should go get myself some tequila. Where that's the advantage to these digital haircuts is that normally you could not be like drinking and cutting hair, or at least I would not advise anybody to do that. But all of these really
I'm definitely not doing that right now. I'm not drinking and
no,
cutting. Yeah, that's not
no.
good. Yeah.
But I think what's
All
so
right.
amazing is that my clients, what we started to do when salons closed was, we did this homeschool hair, and we started doing this for free because we didn't understand what this was going to become. Me and my coworker Janine, we sort of felt very privileged that we could just sit home and wait this out. I'm sitting in my little Fanwood apartment and having a blast with, just playing around with all the digital tools that, is Zoom and things that I learned in my corporate life. And I don't know. I understand that there's, hairstylists that are trying to figure this out. And my clients were like, we just want to help you guys. We just want to do something. So we made this fundraiser, and people, every time they hop off the Zoom call with me, they're donating to it. And we're raising a lot of money for the homeless, which is Bridges Outreach in Summit, New Jersey. And what's really cool about this is they not only help the Union County homeless and displaced women in I don't want to really label them as like a battered women's shelter. They help everyone who doesn't have a home. They are even going into New York and finding people a place to go. So
Wow.
Janine is a colorist. I'm a stylist. But I just sort of feel like any of us, if your life sort of took you on a different path in sort of an unlucky way, we all could be homeless right now. I think this virus is coming for everybody. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. So I feel like in some small way, these digital haircuts are helping people who need it. So it's kind of amazing. It's been a very fun project. Look at you.
Yeah, I actually don't look that bad. I look presentable as I'm doing this. But it's all about people that are watching or listening in, that it's all about going in and then diving out, knowing where that line is, that danger zone. I know I fooled around with the salad bowl, but that's about right where it's at. So let's see.
You're doing a really good job, Sam, and that's really a great analogy. And I think that I'm so proud of the guys that do this, because it's almost like you guys are going back to understanding, like you said, like the weed whacking and the lawns. Because I've always, when I teach a guy to put product in their hair, I teach them to rake it through, when I explain that. And they always get it. So if you use these analogies, guys really learn very quickly how to groom themselves. And it's great.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to be perfect here, because if you're trying to be perfect, you're going to overdo it, and then you can't fix it. Whereas you know that there's going to be imperfection. The weed whacker guy, when I take off the glasses and all that, that's when I can, look at it. So, all right.
Right.
So, do I have a good angle here?
Yes.
So,
Yep. And I think what's
yeah,
important too is that you being so brave doing this on your own, because a lot of these calls that I've done, it's been somebody's partner who's been helping them, or somebody. But obviously there might be somebody who doesn't have somebody in quarantine to help them, and you're just showing that it is possible to do it on your own, which is great.
yes.
Obviously, Melanie can go in and touch this up for you and get the pieces that you missed, but it's not impossible. And I think what's important with these Zoom calls is that the cameras are not as clear. So people can just do the front of their hair. You can hide your roots. You can just do simple beauty self-care until you're able to get back into the salon and see a professional who obviously can give you a much better haircut. But this is just to keep you presentable on these Zoom calls and dealing with, these camera angles that are much different. Nobody's looking at the back of your head.
I want Connie to have something to work with, but also in the interim, I feel okay, because you kind of feel like a fuddy-duddy. You're off your game when you don't have that haircut. Now, right now, I actually, really don't look that bad, actually, right now.
That's right.
You see on the camera, the top of the head's been untouched. I'm not going past, this is my barber Connie's, this is her real estate. Here, I'm just trying to make sure it's out of my ears. I don't look like, a fuzz bucket, whatever you want to call me. But now, how am I doing in the back here? Is it still uneven, or because I have no way of...
So you're doing good. Obviously, you're working your way to what we call center back. Right? Exactly, right there. So, which is the hardest part to reach, but you're getting there.
Yeah, and always stretch out before doing this, so you know what your range is. It's not too bad.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. You're doing a great job. What's that?
No, I go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
I think you touched upon a really great point that became clear to me and Janine, that from the beginning, at first, I think that sometimes the hairstylists were getting criticized when some of the colorists were doing curbside color, which means, I know you'll have a lot of guys on here, but women were needing color to cover their grays, or were wondering what to do with their highlights that were growing out. And I know a lot of guys like blondes. So, that blonde hair was growing out and women needed to know what to do. So they were reaching out to their hairstylists. And what curbside color is basically some salons decided to mix like hair color kits and drop it off at people's houses. And, the hairstylists were getting some criticism of like, how could anybody be thinking about their hair color or beauty at a time like this? But as time went on, you just said it yourself, is that you're already starting to feel better because you just feel sort of fuddy-duddy. You just feel almost depressed. It's just like, if you could just feel groomed, you already feel better. It's like taking a shower just makes you feel better. Like having a cup of coffee wakes you up. And I think that that's what people are really relying on their hairstylist for. And even just the conversation that you have with us behind the chair is something that people are missing. So I'm happy to hop on these Zoom calls and maintain my quarantine and also help my clients maintain quarantine. And I hope that we're inspiring other hairstylists who are worried to leave the house and don't want to do a haircut in a backyard and not be listening to the governor's orders right now, that they see what they can do online by using Zoom or Instagram Live or a podcast like this even. So, yeah, I think that looks really
How's my back? All right? It's not too bad.
Yeah, Sam, I am
Actually,
very impressed. Very
thanks.
impressed. Yeah.
Just got one
Yep.
more patch here. So
Yep.
you just kind of peel it out a little bit,
Yep.
what you may have missed.
Yep.
Oops. Yeah, just
So
don't have
by
your hand on the
keeping,
trigger.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So by keeping, obviously Connie or your barber or your hairstylist would have much more what I call range within all of the pieces on a buzzer. And truthfully, just because I know a lot of guys might think if you're asking yourself right now, I'll just get this buzzer and I'll just teach myself to cut my hair. The thing is that you will notice that this haircut is going to grow in much faster than Connie's haircut, because when you sit down in the barber's chair, you're going to notice all these different pieces sitting there. And the reason why a barber fades you so much is to give you more time out of your haircut, to make it look cooler,
Yes.
to give it a cooler design. And I'm just going to say this because I can, because I don't cut your hair. And I also always say it like it is. But a barber deserves to charge you more because all of those pieces cost money and she's saving you money. But that barber has to go get education to train themselves. They have to sanitize those pieces. Those pieces start to wear out to give you a better haircut. So there's going to be a lot about the business that people are going to start to understand. And we're thankful for you who really respect Connie in her business. And there's nothing wrong with the fact that you wanted to just freshen up your sides until you got to see Connie, and you wanted to go on sallybeauty.com and buy this ion buzzer, because you're still going to get in Connie's chair and you're going to appreciate her that much more. That's all.
Yeah, actually, it doesn't look that bad. The back isn't too bad. I mean, it's how I feel, not what it looks like. But I think it's not
Yeah.
too bad. I think I got one little patch here, and then I'll be done, and then we'll do the patches without the glasses, I guess.
So my suggestion here also too is what I tell people is that when you're doing a home haircut, you would then wash your hair. I tell people wash it, see where you get, and maybe a little bit of hair product you'd put in the top to just sort of blend it and make it look cool, especially for barbering. That don't worry about the top, even if you have a little bit of disconnection, meaning maybe the top is fuller because you aren't able to get into Connie's chair and cut the top. Almost leave well enough alone. I would tell you maybe to cut the sides where your glasses are. And I think you have a cool haircut that's going to get you by until you get to see your barber.
Yeah.
Hair product goes a long way, guys.
It's I'll tell you the truth. We can't control, when we're going to go out and when it's going to be safe. But this gives me hope and an option to feel good, and not have the hair get in the way, or as the weather starts to get warmer, you just want a haircut. It's kind of like, this is my, kind of like what you said, taking a shower, just refresh, but get it to Connie. Get by to get to Connie, not be miserable before you see her.
Right.
Your barber or whoever does your hair. And just realize, everybody at home, this is my first time I've ever done this for myself. I've never done this before. I've never heck, I almost put myself in danger by trying it before talking to you that you're supposed to put the clippers on.
Because and I think that the thing too that we should mention is that I was in a meeting prior to this. We didn't even have a chance to practice this. So I'm sitting here sort of amazed that we were able to do this. And I'm so impressed by you because there was, we didn't even take a practice run at this.
No, not at all. I mean, how do you take a practice run on this? You really can't.
You can't. You can't do a haircut before this. So, but I almost, sometimes I think people think that there's like the magic of TV, and with this, you really can't. So.
No, I mean we're pre-recording and doing this live is almost impossible since I'm the producer, but it's not too bad. I mean there's no edits in this recording. What you see is what I'm doing. Okay, so right now I'm happy with what I've done so far. How do I? So I should just take off the glasses and do the same thing, like start with those sideburns.
Yeah, I would probably say take off the glasses and allow yourself to get up close onto a mirror so that you could see without your glasses, but
All
visually.
right, real quick, I'm going to just show the audience what I look like. Pretty good, right?
I think it looks awesome. It looks really awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, let me just switch back right here. Let's go back to us. Okay. So take off the glasses now. I do have on the iPad here. I do have. I can kind of look at myself and do this. So I should start like right on the sideburns here, right, Kate?
Yeah, this is going to be really easy because you have the same guard on, so it's the same length. And you really, at that part, because the danger zone is up way higher, you'll be able to just, move it around. Yep. Yep.
Now, how do I get
A
around
little,
my ears? Should I do
I was
that?
just going to say, yep, you can hold down your ear. That's a hairstylist trick slash barber. I want to make sure that I'm respecting my barbers.
Yeah, Connie's family goes, it's generational. Father, brother, they all they all do it. Her brother has Walt's Barbershop in Flanders, and he does that
Cool.
as well. So, yeah, and with barbers all the time, I mean, after seeing what hairstylist charges or whatever, you always tip your barber. Because, like what you said, they make your hair last, and sometimes you can't even get to a barber, but they make your hair last.
A
All right, so this is not too
barber
bad.
is, yeah. A barber is so part of the community. I mean, obviously, a salon is too, but I have such respect. I worked in a barber shop when I was in college, and they're just, it's so amazing. And I learned so much working in a barber shop. I learned so much about guys. I think there's a lot. I'm such a tomboy, as you guys know, but I think a lot of I have a brother, so I'm a little sister to a brother. So I think that had a lot to do with it too. But I think my days in the barber shop, I learned a lot about you guys, and it's a very, very cool atmosphere to be in.
Yeah, that's what we do. We talk about sports, and this is a Let's Go Devils podcast network, real New Jersey. We could talk a little bit about Devils right now. As we're trying to figure out if we're going to have a season or not.
Mhm.
Should I turn the other way, or does it matter? I mean,
However, you can see, because I know the challenge is you doing this without your glasses on. So, but we're definitely getting to see you do a good job on this. So you're proving the point, which is good.
yeah, I mean, this is going to get by, you know. But just like, I have a little like ADD, even when I mow the lawn, that I miss a spot or I completely didn't go in a straight line. So I'm just worried about that. How do you prevent that? I mean, is there some kind of technique you may use to just, try to keep it even?
So I have to say, when I was shopping, I was sort of shopping for clients and why I was picking certain products to suggest. And I was going to say why I chose this buzzer. And a big reason is because this is cordless. Typically, the trimmers only come cordless in our industry. So
Mm-hmm.
they do make a trimmer for this in a much smaller version. But I sort of felt like, I don't want my clients spending money on something on a bunch of things, because hopefully the salons are going to be able to reopen and you're going to be able to go back to your barber, back to your hairstylist. Like, I don't want you spending on all of these different things. So how do you get like bang for your buck? And if you were using a buzzer that had a cord, it would become kind of confusing, and you would be making those lines because you would be using this if it had a cord, almost like working around that cord. So I don't know if you even really notice, because now you're just using this buzzer and you don't know the difference. But another buzzer would be annoying because of that cord. But you also just did your whole haircut and this held the charge. So when I was testing these buzzers, I thought, this is amazing. So I think that answers the question. That's how you're not making the lines, because it gives you more movement because you're not getting the cord stuck. And ladies know this, because when we blow dry, we're trying to get that angle on our hair, like blow drying, but the cord is getting in the way. So we're always hoping that somebody is going to create a cordless blow dryer that holds the power so that we can blow dry our hair with our strength, but that will just relieve us of the cord.
Wow. Now, this looks good. Now, in the kit, it has some oil, I think, and a brush. Is that for maintenance, and how often should you be doing that?
So if you have really thick hair, I mean, me personally, I take really good care of my tools. I would tell you to do it after this haircut. So especially you have very thick hair, I would.
Okay. Yeah, my dad's side of the family, everybody still has their hair.
Yeah. It's very, very lucky trait to have run in your family, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I think it looks pretty good. I feel good.
I think it looks great.
Let me put my glasses on real quick and see, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. I mean, I could probably do a better job with the sideburns with going with the lower. Would I be able to do that now, or should I just keep it as is? Or I could use that with when I shave, just to.
Yeah. So if you want to do any of the edging, I normally just say to take the edger off. I mean, the guard off.
Yep.
And then you can turn and use the edger itself, the trimmer itself. Or you could use your razor. Oh, so you could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I just forgot what product this is. It's from Philips Norelco. It's what sometimes I shave with. You know.
Yeah. So I would be careful going. Yeah. So I would be careful using any of the edgers or the buzzers and going up into your hair with no guard. But I know sometimes people like to keep their sides very short. I normally would take a line, and then I would use this attachment on here, because that's what this button here is. The 1.3, 1.6, and 1.9 will blend that side. That's the advantage to the Ion 5-Speed Max as opposed to the trimmer that you just used. But it's preference.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I didn't mean to. You just, I wasn't sure if I was a little nervous. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So this actually looks pretty good if people see. It's actually not amazing, bad.
Right? Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So this is looking good. Now, I guess my question here is, I have some scissors. Is this still a Connie zone, or could I just trim it just a little, the front?
So if I were you, I would leave it alone.
Okay.
I think that I always advise people, leave well enough to know when to stop. That's a big hair lesson. Know when to stop. I would put some hair products. I would wash your hair and see it wet, but I would leave well enough alone. I think you did a great job. I think it looks like a fresh haircut, and that's it. I think people don't know when to stop, and this is when we should stop.
Yeah, because you just set the ground rules and the guideline. Connie zone, danger zone. This
That's
is just to
right.
get the. So I feel
That's
good. I look good. I feel great. I feel confident now. I feel like my podcast now on the Let's Go to Health podcast network is going to be just fantastic. I feel like a new person. Like I feel like I'm on my A game. Wow.
that's right.
Well, thank you, Kate. Thank you, Kate.
You're very welcome.
And to find Kate, you can go to katecutmyhair.com and tell her that Sam Wu sent you. And also, thank you to the Ion people for this wonderful contraption. I highly recommend it. And where can they get this?
So you can buy your own Ion Buzzer on sallybeauty.com, and they can follow along on Homeschool Hair on my Instagram at Kate Cut My Hair, because we're posting a lot of the videos that we're doing, and on YouTube for more videos as people are cutting their own hair with this buzzer, because everybody's loving it. Yeah.
And also, I'll make a donation to the GoFundMe and the charity work that you're doing. Thank you very much. And I'll see you on the flip side.
Thank you.